Well, it is November 18th. We are a couple weeks out from Ohio bow opener. We're still on a mission to find a target deer. So a little bit of an update on Talon, the deer that I thought I'd be hunting this year. Unfortunately found out just a couple weeks ago that he is dead. So I had found that deer's shed back in 1st of March, I think. I assumed at that point he had made it. Unfortunately, he was very very low body weight, and I think he had an injury back in December at some point. And it sounds like somebody found him with one side on him, and I happened to find the side that shed out. So back to the drawing board, looking for a big deer to hunt. Down around the place, my primary property, there's been some really good deer down there, and I have seen some of them on the bean fields around, anywhere from a quarter mile to 1 mile away. 3 giants and 2 very solid deer around that 150-inch mark that I'd probably would probably take a crack at, given the opportunity. One of them I know pretty well. I think there's a chance I could kill him in October. The other deer, the most recent one I've seen, is an absolute giant. Don't know for sure what deer that is, but there's a deer that comes through every year, middle of the rut, and I've got a feeling it's him. If it is, he made a big jump. But either way, it's an absolute giant. He's only, less than half a mile away, so definitely a good chance, come end of October, that I get a crack at that deer as well. But tonight, we are on down to one of my smaller pieces. I own a small chunk, and then I got permission on some of the neighbors. And I had a deer last year, a really solid 4-year-old that I didn't hunt really at all. But he was a 6x6 as a 4-year-old, probably in that, right around the 140-inch mark. And I was really excited for that deer. I have not picked him up on camera yet, and I had him quite a bit during velvet last year, so part of me is beginning to think, well, maybe he didn't make it through, maybe he died, never found his sheds, but I had him all the way into March or February when he shed out finally. So I'm unsure of that deer. I mean, he should be a really good deer. I mean, I thought he would surely be a 160-inch deer. And I finally secured permission of where that deer was spending a lot of his time. And so I do feel like if he made it, a good chance I could kill him. So I got a camera down in that vicinity. I put a little bit of corn out close to mock scrape, so I'm going to check that, just an SD card. And then if he's not on that, on down from there, there's quite a few oaks. And I found a really good pinch that I could potentially get on him there. So I'm going to check out those oak trees, see if they're dropping, see if there's sign around there, see if I can find anything that would, he was a pretty camera shy deer last year already as a 4-year-old. So, chances are, maybe he's just skirting my cameras, maybe he is in the area. But we'll see. I'm excited. Get to pull another card. I always enjoy this, and we'll see what shows up. Well, something was up with that camera. Just wasn't taking pictures. It got some, but not a lot of them. It's all right. I'm gonna hop down. We're kind of up on top, right on a fringe spot. I'm gonna drop down in a little bit. You can hear acorns dropping right now. I'm gonna drop down a little bit, see if I can find some fresh sign of potential areas where they're hitting some of these acorns, and then see if I can find anything that would indicate that there's decent sized deer down in here. There's a bed right here, right off that scrape. Got a little apple tree right here. It's got some just real tiny apples on it. An old historic rub right there. And then right down here we got some white oaks. So, it does not appear as though the white oaks on this particular property really have any acorns on them. The black oaks have quite a few, and they're currently dropping. But the pinch that I've been wanting to hunt, looks like these trails are pretty beaten down. So given the right opportunity, I might definitely be in here. There's just so many oaks that I think this could be a pretty decent spot early season. I know his main bedding area is about 150 yards west of here, and there's sort of two main trails, and I've got a pretty sweet spot up here that I can get in a tree, potentially have a 10-yard shot. So we'll see. Still, if I could find one acorn or one white oak tree that's really hot, I think that could be good early, but it doesn't seem like most of them have anything on them. This clover is absolutely toasted. I come in here and threw a bunch of rye on top of this to try and save it around here, but I literally haven't had enough rain to allow the rye to germinate. Looks like they're starting to open up the scrape a little bit. Man, this is crazy. Well, this property did not show what I was hoping to see. The white oaks that I thought this deer might be down in, there are no acorns. The black oaks are dropping some, but even those aren't great. So yeah, it's a little discouraging. The camera also wasn't working properly, so I didn't get pictures off of that. I'm checking the card now from the clover plot. There's a really pretty 3-year-old in here. Nice 135-inch 10-pointer. And then there's a 4-year-old that I call Shorty. Also pretty cool deer. He's got split brows, mainframe 10-pointer with some trash. but not a deer that I'm going to be targeting. Man, they have just been browsing that clover down. It's crazy. A lot of does on this property as well. Yeah, some turkeys. Always like to see that. Wow, it's a lot of does in there. I think with a lot of this browse starting to dry up, they're hitting this clover more and more. There's Shorty, that 4-year-old. Not a great look at him, but another look at him. There's the 3-year-old. Great genetics, good looking deer. I think he'll be a real pretty deer down the road. Smaller 8-pointer. There's that 3-year-old again. Shorty. Shorty again. It's in there a lot. So yeah, a lot of does in there. 2 decent bucks, but not a target. So I'm going to probably move on. I had high hopes for that deer showing up, and he still might. So I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll probably do some doe hunting in here opening weekend or something. But I think I'm going to set my sights primarily on some of my other properties. Picked up a few permission pieces that I'm kind of waiting to see how those pan out, and then I got my core piece that I've been doing a lot of work on this past year, and that's where a lot of the big deer that I've seen in the larger destination bean fields around the area have been. So kind of waiting for that shift to happen, for the deer to kind of shift into my property. Oftentimes that is end of September going into October, and then I just keep picking up more and more deer throughout the years. So we'll see how that pans out. But unfortunately, this little piece here doesn't look like it's going to be much of anything, especially with that plot not looking great. It's basically down to the dirt, just not much there. So it's a little discouraging, but it is what it is, and we'll move on.